It's to the point with Mike, Leo, and Vince.
What's happening, guys?
What's going on?
Welcome back.
Hey, happy Friday, Thursday, or Tuesday the 13th.
You all right, Leo?
It's one of them days that ends in Y. Well, he was thinking it was Friday the 13th just because the luck has run short today.
You've had Friday the 13th luck.
I've had Friday the 13th luck, yeah, so that's why I was like 13.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm a little superstitious person sometimes.
Yeah, well, it's only Tuesday, so you
I
don't have to
know.
worry about it this month. You're safe for another month.
Am I?
Yeah, so how's it going? Vince, you get stuck today?
No.
No, you getting in any mud?
No.
Yeah.
No, not today.
You gotta try harder next time.
Right?
Did you guys watch the Super Bowl?
No.
I had it on my iPad while I was on YouTube on the main screen. It was like off to the side. I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it.
I watched it.
Like you watched it?
I didn't watch the whole. I didn't sit there and watch the whole thing. I was, back and forth.
Right. I didn't really pay attention till the end too much.
I watched the halftime show. Yeah, I thought it was all right.
Yeah, I really didn't watch the halftime show.
Usher was right. Did Usher?
I was on the back.
Glad
porch.
like Lil Wayne. Was it Lil Wayne and Lil Jon?
I know Usher was supposed to be the main.
Glad
I didn't watch
the other people got on there because they kind of saved the halftime show. I said what I said.
You didn't think Usher was that good?
I didn't watch any of it.
I didn't watch a halftime show.
I knew they were going to show more of the Swift lady than anything else.
I heard it was like 23
like,
times.
So that's why I was like, I don't really care. Like, it is what it is.
I heard it was 23 times.
My thing
the
is,
camera panned to Taylor Swift.
Like, I was just thinking, like while this is going on, I was just like, y'all just giving this woman more fame.
You know what the problem is? They're creating that. You know?
Oh yeah.
Do you know
nobody else but her fans and the media is creating this. Nobody else but the media.
So do you know one of the tactics our military used in Iraq and in Afghanistan when they would have a village surrounded and they were trying to flush out the Taliban?
Right.
They would constantly blare some heavy metal music or something horrible, or Taylor Swift or Friday Girl song type of music to try and drive people a little crazy. And I think that's what the media is trying to do. Not just the media, but certain
just another distraction.
Players on the left are trying to create an enemy out of Taylor Swift. I don't know if we talked about this last week, but she's a great performer. Yeah, we did talk about it. But I think they're trying to make a bigger deal out of it.
Yeah, like they're making something
that cares.
Yeah, like nobody cares. They're just it's her boyfriend.
And I would have thought her boyfriend was a dumbass anyways, if it wasn't her boyfriend.
Well, supposedly a lot of her music
You look like a freaking punk.
A lot of her music is about breaking up with people she's been with, and like they're already predicting whenever she breaks up with Travis Kelce or whatever his name is, that'll be like the biggest song. Her breakup song from him is going to be her biggest hit ever. Because that's like most of her music's all crap like that.
A lot of people say, there's some people that say it's a psyop. I don't think it's a psyop. I agree with some other people out there like Tim Pool that it's a PR stunt. Like a lot of people are reading into it. They don't really see a couple that's in love, but a lot of people already think the NFL has got some controversy into how refs can steer a game. Not that it's rigged, not without coming right out and saying it's rigged, but and I don't really follow football that much to put in my own 2 cents. I can just tell you what I hear and repeat it, but and you make your own decision. But a lot of the calls the refs make, now I'm not sure about the Super Bowl game, but could definitely affect the outcome of the playoffs or who goes to where. I don't know. But 123.4 million people tuned in to watch.
Wow.
The most ever. Obviously, Taylor Swift brought quite the crowd with her. So who really won? Was it the Chiefs or Taylor? Did you watch the game at all, Leo?
Yeah, I watched some of the game.
Yeah, do you like football?
Yeah, I like football. I just don't like NFL football.
Why?
You like college football?
I like college football. Because to me, in NFL, the football players already made it. They're already on a contract.
Yeah, they're playing for money.
I don't have to work
There's
that
more
hard.
sport in it in the college.
So it's like,
yeah,
okay, I'm already in the NFL. Now what?
Right.
What do I do? I already signed a contract. I'm already getting paid.
They're doing it for the money. Where the college kids,
Where the college
kids,
kids,
sport.
where the college
Now,
kids.
what happens if they open it up for money
Well, hold
in
on.
college?
Well, hold on. The college kids are not just doing it for the sports; they're doing it for the money.
The soon to be money.
Soon to be
the
right.
job
money.
after,
The job,
future money.
So,
yeah, hopefully.
well, hopefully. So, what are they doing? They're trying their best that they can do so that they could get that
So you
contract.
you
So
prefer
once they-
watching somebody hungry for the money play versus
Absolutely.
watching a multi-millionaire play.
Yeah, absolutely. I prefer to sit with one of those people and sit there and eat with them than sit with because it's like,
Well, you used to go to FSU games
Yeah.
a lot, right? When you
Yeah.
were
but I'm just saying, like, it's just like they're playing super hard. They put all of it, all that they have into the sport, so that they could get that signature, so that they could get that recognition. And then once they get there, then they're like, okay, I made it. Just like,
Yeah, I never really was into it, but there was a lot of controversy over letting college athletes take not salaries but endorsements.
bribes.
That's what it is. That's what it is. It's product and
Yeah, that's
you
what
know,
it is.
product
Yeah. I think I had heard somewhere something saying that they could do that now. Or
they can.
or they.
Oh
can
yeah, I knew they were
Or
talking about how
they
they
can,
think it should.
Either they can, or they're going to start to, or something like that. Like, say Nike will come to you as a college student and be like, "Hey, I want to sign you for a Nike commercial, and I want you to
Right.
be on there."
Well, the big
You know, like-
argument's been
So it's like, we're gonna pay you, even though
a big argument's been like, you got this 20-year-old kid or however old he might be, just because he's going to school at your school, why can't he make money?
Yeah, absolutely. He's making money from school.
Nike wants to give him $1 million to do this. Who are
Yeah.
you to say he can't take that money?
Because right now, who's taking
But-
the money is the school.
But the
Yeah,
sad
the school's doing the
right,
endorsement.
the
the
schools,
school's the one who's taking the money.
The schools
Yeah.
get rich, no doubt about that.
I mean, look at the big old
But-
stadiums they have and all that stuff.
But here's the downside to letting them take money from companies like Nike. Like, then these companies can kind of start persuading where these kids go to school. You know what I mean? So, like, they could, certain schools are going to benefit from it. So it's certainly it's gonna corrupt the sport if they are able to take that money.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, it will. I agree. But then also too, it'll benefit to the athlete.
I'd rather see the athlete get it than the school.
Yeah.
I mean, these schools.
Some of these athletes, man.
Some of these big schools, when you got people that die too, they leave like millions of dollars to their alma mater, or what? I can't even say that word.
alumni.
Because of, like the sports division, whatever it is, right?
No, they'll leave it to whatever school they went to.
Right, that's what I'm saying,
Alumni.
like the
They're
sports
alumni.
group, yeah.
They're
Yeah.
alumni. Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying? They're
Yeah,
alumni.
the alma mater or the alumni.
That's it. That's the word. I can never say that fucking word.
Yeah, but
But-
as far as all that being a psyop, though, I mean, back to the Taylor Swift thing, and we'll move on because I don't really want to talk about her. I don't really care about her. Great, good for her. She's like, the big thing is she going to endorse Joe Biden? That's what they think they're going to do. I don't care. I already know she's not a freaking
Not just
right-minded conservative.
I already know Joe Biden's not going to be
Right.
the one there in the end, anyways. It's gonna.
She's
Did
a
you
Trump
hear-
hater, so what do I care?
Did
like,
you
what's the
hear
big deal?
Kamala Harris came out and said she's ready to be
Oh,
president?
yeah, I thought I had that video. I
I'm
didn't
sorry,
have it
Mike.
there.
I know you probably weren't ready to get
Yeah.
into that, but oh my
No,
god!
I didn't even go down that road. We can go down that road here in a minute, but
And Barbara Streisand said if Trump gets reelected, she wants to leave the country. I say bye, Felicia.
yeah,
I
they
want to
all
leave
say
the
that.
country.
They all say that.
Yeah, I want to leave the country if Kamala Harris is president. Jesus,
Yeah,
get the fuck out of here.
yeah. I don't know. I just want to make sure we're working over there. The Super Bowl, Taylor Swift. I don't really care. I heard her boyfriend body checked the coach or some shit like that.
Yeah, he bumped.
Yeah,
bumped
I
him.
think he's a douche. I don't care. Most of them dudes are, anyways. But it is what it is. Did you see the shooting at Joel Osteen's church?
I heard about it.
Did you hear about that?
I
Yeah.
just kind of glanced at it. I didn't really, put my head in like.
I haven't seen
I
it,
didn't
no,
pay
but
attention
I didn't
to
really
it.
see much. I just know a few of the details that.
Just because I was just like, oh, another one. Like, really? What are they
Yeah.
gonna say? The same thing?
Well, it
again?
was a woman with her 5-year-old, I believe, and opened fire with an AR-15 at the megachurch. I didn't hear about any casualties though. I know. Well, besides her,
right.
2 off-duty policemen who were working as security guards, I believe, took her out. I say her, but in all actuality, the media doesn't want you to know that this was actually a he. This was a transgender because they don't want you to know that there's
Something
uh,
wrong with
a
them in the head.
transgender mass shooting epidemic going on in the
Right,
country.
right.
You know,
Well,
they want to paint it different.
we already know they're unstable.
Yeah. So, the boy was shot, critically injured. I don't know what the update is on the little boy, but the father slash transgender mother is no longer there to take care of the kid. Obviously, it's probably best for the kid, but yeah, it was the world's well, I guess by some standards, it's the largest mega church in America, possibly the world, and that's at Joel Osteen. I don't watch him, but I've known
No.
people who do. You watch him, Leo? You ever catch any Joel Osteen?
Mm-mm.
I've known some big followers of him that were kind of all in for Joel Osteen. Of course, here we are coming up on election time, and I'm sure we'll start hearing about the gun safety. Although I didn't hear that. It wasn't a headline today.
What is it?
The gun laws. They're not pushing that today.
No.
Which you
There,
think they would be because there's other news they want to get away from.
there was another. Did you hear about? There's a kid. There was a kid that shot some people, and the parents are going to go to jail for.
Yeah,
The mother has already been convicted. I don't think she had been sentenced yet, but she was looking up to like, I think she had like 4 counts that each one could be 15 years, and she's already been
like
found guilty. She just hadn't
manslaughter
been.
because the gun was available.
They bought the gun for their kid, but it wasn't in his possession. He stole. Then he found wherever they had the gun and stole the gun.
Right.
And went and did whatever he did. Now they're actually going to. The mother's supposed to go to jail for over 50 years, and his father is supposed to get even. Is supposed to be more responsible.
Yeah,
They're throwing the book at these people.
We'll jump back on that. Mike Wiseman had commented and said, "Fuck Taylor Swift and the Pfizer pushing boyfriend." I agree when it comes to that.
Yeah.
I just don't think they should be making a big deal. Like we're giving them too much attention. But
Yeah, I agree.
same with but when we should be giving attention to the mental illness that's creating these mass shootings.
Right.
I mean, the
Celebrities dating each other is no. I mean, come on, that's all the fucking time. Who the fuck cares?
This one at the church in, I think it was Texas, was AR-15, transgender, 36-year-old immigrant from El Salvador, also known as Jeffrey. I forget what the full name was. I'm not gonna really don't care. Also had a sticker on the AR, the Free Palestine sticker. So the person was definitely pretty emotional about the world's current events. But yeah, I mean the AR-15s that the family. I think that was is that Michigan or Maine?
It may have been Maine. I can't remember. But I mean, it's definitely the first of its kind. There's never, in all the different shootings in the past. Think of all the shootings there's been where kids have gotten hold of guns, and no situation that I can recall has the parents ever been basically treated like the ones that pulled the trigger.
I mean,
like getting that kind of sentence.
Yes and no. I mean, if you're reckless with your gun, I mean, it's happened.
Yeah, but I mean,
it was a kid. It was a school shooting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if it's your gun, I mean, even if it's not.
I've never heard of them getting like 50 plus years, stuff like that, when it's the parent.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's crazy.
That's like you actually committed the murder.
That'd be pretty tough. And your kid probably got killed in the process.
I don't even know. Like I was just, I heard about what was going on with the parents. I don't even know, to be honest with you.
Can you imagine that
kid.
though? You're a little reckless with your firearms, and your kid's fucked up in the head and fucks everybody's life up and freaking
the whole family
in an hour. Yeah,
that shit can happen, man.
Yeah, man. Put the hood down. Not what you doing.
I'm about guns. Leo's like, get this hoodie on.
Get this fucking.
I don't want to get
shot. I mean, in a way, it's a good thing, Show your kids while they're young the safety. It's all about safety. Show them safetiness. My wife's grandma. My wife always tells me that her grandma used to always like scare her with like scary like things. She always used to always tell her not to ride her bike around the pool because one of her feet would get stuck in the spokes and she would
fall into the
fall
pool.
into the pool. She wouldn't be able to swim because her foot would get stuck in the spokes. And she said, and I'm not jumping in for you because I already warned you about it, you know? So my wife would till this day, she's like, and I was scarred. She was like, I was scarred. She would tell me, like, she would say, like, don't do this because this is what's going to happen to
Hey,
you.
it worked.
She's like,
She didn't ride her
she's
bike
like,
around the pool.
no, she's like, it scarred me, but it taught me at the same time not to be safety. Like safety was the number one thing to do. And now we're here today with safety. You know, and it's just, but yeah, it's safety. If you teach your kids safety with guns, how to properly use a gun or what guns are used for, where to aim to, not, you know, and it's not to kill people, it's for a defensive. Like you use it for
Defense or
defense, you know,
hunting,
like hunting
if it's a
and
hunting.
stuff like that. It's, and you have to understand that once you shoot this handgun or this piece of metal, that it's going to shoot something out and it's going to hit something. Either it's going to hit whatever hits, it's either going to hit and go through it, or it's going to bounce and hit you, or it's going to hit something. It's going to hit something. And once it hits it, if it hits a human being, an animal or something, it's going to kill it. And it's not coming back.
You can't unpull the trigger.
You cannot unpull it. Once it's gone, it is gone. So you have to understand that once it's gone, it's gone.
It's a commitment. Yeah.
There is no more coming back. It is what it is. And a lot of thing is probably too is video games, technology. You know, because a lot of things you could just hit a reset button and it brings that person right back to life.
Mm-hmm. It's not like a video game.
It's not a video game, and that's what I'm saying. That's the problem. You know, a lot of these kids are just people in general.
I think that's a good
it's
conversation we should
illness.
have. Maybe not on Facebook for later though. Like as far as like you're talking about the video games, I think that's intriguing for a lot of people nowadays, especially coming out of the COVID era. And if you can imagine how that could go, that's something we should talk about on Rumble for sure. But yeah, like people have no sense of how fragile life is.
Yeah, they have no sense of like how fragile. And like you have to understand that once it's done, or even me, you know, like I understand that once I'm speaking, whatever's coming out of my lips and going through this mic and going through this wire, that is done. I cannot.
It's out there.
It is out there. It is done. The only thing that I say is, hey, Mike, can you delete it? But even that, I don't know if he's going to delete it or not. He might even save it and say, no, I'm going to save this just because he said to delete it. You know? But we have to understand when we use firearms or use stuff like that, like there is no reset button. Once you delete it, it's deleted. Meaning like once you hit whatever you hit and it punctured it, that's it.
That's just like they got to learn cars, just like a gun. You can kill somebody with a car too.
Anything, you could use anything, you know. It just, that's why you say enjoy life, but also know your limits, you know, because everything has a limit for sure. The only thing that doesn't have a limit is the Autobahn. Isn't that what they're called?
I don't know. I think that's still
Autobahn.
Autobahn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Speaking of limit,
I was gonna ask you guys if you guys saw any of them, like the commercials or whatever, but you guys didn't.
No.
I honestly didn't see too many of them. Like
I saw one that I was kind of like, kind of made me a little uncomfortable.
What was it?
It was people washing their feet.
Oh, the Christian one. Or the one that was what the hell was it called? What was it promoting?
I don't know, but it made me very uncomfortable where I was watching it at.
Why did it make you uncomfortable?
Because at first I was just like, okay, what's going on here? There's one person, and then all of a sudden at like the third or fourth one, I started counting. I was like, okay, there's one person already got washed for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 people got their feet washed by different people. And then the last one was Jesus washing a gay person's foot.
Yeah, I saw,
and I felt very uncomfortable where I was sitting at, and I kind of like looked around, and I was like, yeah, that one. Yeah, that one. and I
Okay,
felt
so
pretty uncomfortable. I was like,
So what is it actually an advertisement for?
I don't know, because I didn't pay attention to the advertisement before it was. I was paying attention to how many people getting their feet washed. You know.
I'm trying to find. He gets us is what it was. The caption on the video says, I'm not showing this at home, but the night before he died, Jesus got his friends and followers together and washed their feet as a
Yep.
symbolic example of how they should humble
Yep.
themselves while dignifying and valuing others. How would our contentious world change if people, especially those with opposing ideologies, took off their shoes and washed each other's feet? Read more. And the commercial, and I agree with it, the commercial kind of leads that Jesus didn't promote hate, and he didn't.
No.
But he didn't not call it out either.
No.
Jesus just wouldn't have washed your gay man's feet. He would have preached to you about how you're wrong and you're going to hell. You know, his whole scene he caused in the marketplace, tipping over the tables from the tax collectors, that wasn't just like he got them. You know, no, he had a moment where people were idolizing the wrong things, and I don't think he would just wash anybody's feet without letting them know.
Right.
You know, the right way to salvation. I'm not a Bible thumper, but there was controversy on that commercial. I didn't clip any commercials because I didn't see any of them.
Right.
So.
And my thing is like how you're saying, you know, like they're going to hell or whatever. Like my thing is,
I'm
like,
not saying
no, you're not saying that, but like, you know how people say like, oh, you this or this, you're going to hell. But then there again, it's like, is there a hell though? Because it's like you at the last minute you could be forgiven for whatever it is. You could like
It depends if you believe that or not.
That's the pretty
though.
picture that's painted in an inclusive world.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. How do we know if
they're saying
No,
it's
you
true.
have to repent. You just don't get forgiven. You have to repent.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, what if you
Some
do
people
repent? You know, at the last minute, you're like.
Some people believe no matter what you did your whole life, as long as at the end you accept Jesus as your savior, you know, that you'll be be forgiven. But I mean, come on, what's the limit on that? What if you murdered people? You know, I mean, like, do you believe
that's what I'm saying?
I don't believe somebody that murdered people is just going to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, please forgive me," and like ask for forgiveness and like, "Oh, okay, no problem, come on in to heaven."
Right.
You know, like I don't know if I buy that. Like, there's got to be like a
you know, there has to be like like all these things are just questions, you know, just questions. It's just like, what now?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
I didn't catch any of those commercials.
I didn't either. I
glanced over and saw Stone Cold Steve Austin in one of them, but I don't know what it was.
I don't know the Bible very good. I can't preach to it. I just know what other preachers would say from memory, and I know a little bit. Like, I've heard a little bit about the Old Testament, and our God today isn't the God of the Old Testament either. He was the fire and brimstone kind of guy, and I don't think he would be so forgiving in today's world. You know, I don't think Jesus and God are just up there saying, you know,
do you think
let him be.
Do you think God believes there's more? How many genders do you think God believes there is?
Well, he only created two, and Jesus is God. So, I mean, whichever way you want to work it, that he created only two genders. I don't think he'd be okay with you trying to choose your gender. He already chose it for you. I don't even want to get down that road. That's not even a road, but I think that but that's just listen. I've got friends in that
you're already in
spectrum that I respect them. Whatever. I don't preach my beliefs onto them. They shouldn't preach them onto me. However, I mean, you ask my opinion, I'll tell you. I think you're about what you were talking about being forgiven. I think that's a good conversation we should have with Eddie from TGI now.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking that.
And I think that would be a good, like, a special episode if we can get Eddie on one of these days, or go down there and.
But yeah,
Eddie.
like people should do what makes them happy. I mean, I wouldn't say don't do something because of my opinion. Something makes you happy, you should do it.
Yeah.
Unless it's murdering people or something like that, then you shouldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be limits to, like, No, I'm sorry, dude. Like, you can be sorry all you want, but you murdered fucking babies. You're gonna burn in
Right.
hell.
Exactly.
So I don't know. Like, could Saddam
So
Hussein just say,
okay,
"Hey, I'm sorry,
right.
Jesus. I'm sorry. Forgive me." Like, you're a
So
little late, man.
right. So
Like,
there.
I don't know where that line is, but there's a line
So
somewhere.
I
there-
think it's fucking kids and killing innocent people.
Right.
So there you go
What if it's
again.
just beating kids or beating people? Like, I still don't think you forgive. I can't forgive somebody that did that. Like, if you did it all your
like
life,
you said, there's a line
like
where
one
there's a
time,
mental illness.
maybe.
There's like a mental illness there also, but there's also
Right.
an evilness that could be. You can probably decipher between the two, between somebody who's mentally ill that shouldn't be taking care of kids or something like that, or somebody just fucking evil. Like we've seen
Right.
these stories in the news or across the world where people are just sick from what they do to children or other people, like other adults. It's just there's evil out there. That's
yeah,
not
For sure.
that I think it festers in mental illness, but I think it can also be deciphered from it. That's a whole nother freaking.
So so you remember last week that I was talking about ghosts?
Mm.
I wonder if those are the people that are the ghosts that do all these bad things that are in hell and that are burning up, and they're trying to like get out of there and trying to find the light. That's like, shit, let me scare shit out of these people so they can.
I
help me
don't
out
think
or something.
that
I'm
like
I don't know.
I
man.
don't
It's-
believe that like if there are ghosts, like I don't believe it would just be like bad people. Like I think it's just people with unfinished business. Like you see sometimes in some of the movies, like lost souls that something's like keeping them here. But I mean,
Would you ever go to one of those people that call what do they call like a median?
where they like call like
Psychic.
where you like talk
man,
to the
that's
dead.
not good shit.
You talking about where you talk to the dead?
Or the lady or the person that talks to the dead,
No, fuck that. I ain't going to that shit.
or the dead
No.
comes and gives you a message like, "Hey, listen, man, like
Nope.
just drop it, leave me alone.
Nope.
I'm good. Don't worry about me.
Nope.
Just move on with your life."
Maybe if
type of
I'm
thing.
drunk in Vegas.
I would.
No, I ain't doing that.
I would. Why not, man? Like to me, I like to hear stuff like that. Like,
I don't
I
believe.
used to find it interesting.
give me the
and I've-
EGBGs. Be like,
I wouldn't
I'd-
be able to believe it. Like
I'd be like, stop bullshit with me, bro. Like, don't be messing around with me right now. Like, you hurt my feelings right now. Like, I'll start crying.
My parents would be they might even be watching, but they'd be severely offended to know when I was a kid, I was in groups that would play once or twice with a Ouija board. Once that I was around, and
the
it was
Ouija
just
board.
it was kind of like somebody's always fucking with you. Whoever
Right.
is on the other side of that board, like a couple people is doing this stupid thing, like somebody's fucking with you, man. Like get out of here.
Yeah.
I
People
don't
that have
believe in that
people
shit.
that have
And if
played it
that shit's
before, when they
real-
play with somebody that's
Yeah,
never
that-
played it before, oh yeah, the other ones are fucking with that person that's
If
never
that's
done
a
it before.
spirit and it's lingering around here, there's a reason why, and I don't think it's going up. It's probably supposed to be heading down. They say that shit ain't. Angels won't interact with you like that,
Right.
so it's not anything good. I don't know. That's another deep subject. But speaking of The Walking Dead, you see Biden, the special
That was a good
counsel,
lead.
the special counsel in the secret documents, the classified documents case against President Joe Biden. Now, keep in mind, recap, these were documents that were in his garage next to the Corvette or on the front seat of the Corvette, just in his garage. Anyways, the special counsel said he did do something wrong. However, he's not going to charge him. Do you know why?
Why?
Not just because he's sitting president. He's not going to charge him for the reckless keeping of classified documents because a jury would more than likely find him incapable to stand trial because he is a feeble old man with a bad
I
memory,
heard that.
with a failing memory.
But
And
let's
this
let him
special-
run to be reelected as our
Well,
president.
this special investigator or prosecutor did this on purpose, like, because they're going after Trump for the same thing. Everyone that was in office in that White House has been charged with the same shit with the secret documents. It's kind of stupid, but it's their documents. Either way.
But let's throw the book at Trump and let's
Yes.
let's
Well, that's what he was doing.
let's
Like
not do anything to Biden.
with Trump, these documents were in a locked room that led to another locked room where major documents were. Like they're not even talking about those documents. These documents were in the room before it, and they weren't locked up until the FBI once said, "Hey, put a lock on that door, please," and they did. So they were in compliant. Then they came back a year later or whatever it was, oh, these weren't and trying to charge like, and it's
Right.
screwed up. But in Trump trials, not all the evidence is allowed in court, or any of the evidence in favor of Trump is ever allowed in court because they're trying whatever they can do. But the special counsel said he wasn't going to charge him because the jury would probably just call him incompetent, pretty much. So they throws the ball into the Democrats. Like, this gives them an out. Like, hey, like, really, we're gonna keep him in the batting cage? We need to throw a pitch hitter in there now at the
Right.
convention. A Gavin Newsom who's out there blowing kisses to Joe Biden, thinking he's the greatest man, or Kamala Harris, like Vince said, was on somewhere and they asked her about the president's capacity, and she was just like, "Oh, I'm able to step in at any time I'm needed." Like, really? Like, okay. I don't think so.
I still don't think she even knows where the border's at.
No, and she was supposed to be there. I don't know if she ever went. Speaking of the border, we'll blow right through these. We just talked about Joe Biden's a zombie. The foreign aid bill, and there was a border bill. The border bill, it's different, I believe. And if somebody can correct me when they watch, just feel free to comment. Please do. The border bill was a package in the House of Representatives that was called the border bill, but really what it did was approved money to send overseas to the Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. Didn't make it through the House of Representatives. Well, last night the Senate passed their version of it, and it's called the Foreign Aid Bill or National Security Bill. And what it does is it's sending $95 billion in foreign aid to Ukraine, to Israel, and to Taiwan. And it's almost like we're stoking the fire of the Russians, the Chinese, and the Islamic world. But we're not sending any money to our border. Or the money we are sending, I think it was like a fraction. It was not even a third of the total foreign aid bill that was called the National Security Bill was actually going to go to our border. I'm going to play a quick... Actually, let me play this video, and you'll get an idea. This is Rand Paul, who's a pretty strong libertarian, conservative type senator. Yeah, let's check it out.
Often the titles of bills before the legislature don't really represent what the bill stands for. The title of this bill should say, Ukraine first, America last, because that's what this is really about. Now, bills in the legislature, bills that come before the Senate, don't have pictures or covers on them like a book would have or a magazine. But if this bill had an image or a cover on the front of the bill, the image would be the migrant in New York who assaulted a police officer, was freed from jail on no bail, and gave the middle finger of both hands to America. That's what this bill is. It's the middle finger to America. This bill is the middle finger to every working man and woman in America, every struggling American family. This bill gives them the middle finger and says, we don't care about you. We care more about Ukraine than we care about our southern border. We don't seem to care, or these Ukraine firsters don't seem to care about the crime that's happening. They don't seem to care about the assault of a police officer in New York. They're intent on more coming in. Just that one image of that man, that migrant, that illegal immigrant who came across the border and decided to assault with a whole group of other thugs to assault a police officer in New York, just that image alone ought to be enough for us to say enough's enough. Enough's enough. We really have to control our border. Guess what? From now on, the only people who come to America are legal immigrants. But this bill ignores the southern border. Almost 1 million people came over the border in the last 3 months. Almost 1 million people. And the Ukraine firsters are saying, we don't care about the southern border. We care about Ukraine first. And so the picture, the image that every American should have when they see all of these billions of dollars, $60 billion being shoveled out the door, being loaded on the plane, as you see these smiling politicians gleefully dropping off the pallets of cash over there, Every American should remember the image of the young man giving America the bird after he assaulted a police officer. That's the image of this bill. That's the image of the Ukraine firsters, and nobody should forget about it. When we look at the problems that we face, we need to be fully aware that there is no pot of money. There is no surplus funds. There is no money to give to Ukraine. We don't have enough money to pay our bills. We do not have enough money to pay for we budget every year. In fact, the entire budget that Congress votes on is borrowed. Let me make that very clear. The entire budget, not a little bit of it, not half of it, the entire budget is borrowed. This would be like someone saying, well, yeah, I don't have any money for rent and I don't have a job. I'm going to borrow the money for my rent. That's essentially where we are. 2/3 of spending up here is entitlements. All of the tax revenue from every source that comes into the federal government.
Yeah, he goes on and on and on. I think they were doing like a filibuster, but it ended up passing in the Senate. I think like 20 Republicans jumped ship and voted with it. And the fucked up thing about this bill is there's an impeachment clause in it, and that impeachment clause says if the president, whoever it shall be, stops the funding to any of these allies or any of the directives, it's automatically like a grounds for an impeachment inquiry.
Right.
So like it almost like they're scared it's going to be Trump. They know it's going to be Trump.
Right.
They know he's going to get in office. They know he's going to stop the freaking money laundering over to the Ukraine and Israel. What are we sending money to Israel for? They've got like the third largest economy in the world. What are we sending them money for? In Texas, we're sending people down to Texas to rip down razor wire. Meanwhile, what was this one?
I watched a video last night too that was responding to the money that we're sending to these other countries. They're showing videos of all kinds of places in the U.S. right now: New York, Utah, Chicago. All these people living in tents on sidewalks or just sleeping all over the place, nowhere to live. We don't even have the money to take care of our own people, and we're sending it over there. But just like you said, it's laundering. They're not. This money is being stolen from us. They're saying it's going to someplace, but it's going into dirty politicians'
So to
pockets.
show you the difference, here's Mitt Romney, who was almost our president.
We will soon take to provide military weapons for Ukraine is the most important vote we will ever take as United States senators. The vote we will soon take to provide military weapons for Ukraine is the most important vote we will ever take as United States senators.
So let that sink in. That was right before he voted for it. The most important vote we'll take as senators is sending $95 billion to Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan to fight proxy wars against our enemies who we should be making allies with. We saw the interview with Putin and Tucker. Yeah, Putin's not a nice guy. Whatever, he's got a history. I don't know how, I don't really care how he came to power. That's not our problem. Our problem is we're making an enemy out of an adversary. Like, we're making an adversary out of somebody we should be allying with. They can use our help, and we can use a not-so-cold war again. That never ended. But here's Senator Mike Lee.
Just finished an hour-long speech in the Senate, and having exhausted the roster of all senators eligible to speak who wanted to speak, the Senate immediately called the vote. After I clocked out, they're up there voting right now. It appears destined to pass. This didn't have to happen. It's unfortunate that we had Senate Republicans turning on the commitment they made to each other and to their voters and to our House Republican colleagues down the hall. There'll be more opportunity to talk about that later, but in the meantime, I take some comfort in knowing that the Speaker of the House has pronounced it dead on arrival. Thanks.
Yeah, so that same bill will allow, they say it's what Biden needed to shut down the border, but what it does was it allows 5,000 to come in before they shut the border. So they can, that's per day. So while we're sending money to protect the borders of these other countries, we're just opening the door for a certain amount to come through before we do anything about it. What are they going to do about it? They're not going to stop them. They're still going to
No.
come over the fence. This is just how many they're letting come in to claim asylum. Which somebody did the numbers on Twitter. I saw Elon Musk reposted 988,819 illegal immigrants in just 43 days this year in the U.S. That's approximately 22,995 illegal immigrants every day. That's every day. That's crazy. And we're sending $95 billion overseas to fight in these other wars. I think it's ridiculous. I'm not a Russian sympathizer. I don't really give a damn.
I could care less.
It was an enemy we created after World War II. We used them just like they used us to attack the Nazis and extinguish the Nazis. In his eyes, he's still doing that. He's still doing that in Ukraine. There's Nazis in Ukraine. We all know it, but for some reason we have a problem with
I could care
them
less.
all of a sudden.
Let them fight their own war, and what the fuck's it got to do with us?
Yeah,
One
well,
interesting thing I heard in that interview, when Tucker Carlson asked him what it would take to stop this, and he was like, "You guys stop sending them money. In 3 weeks it'll be over." And obviously that means he's gonna fuck them up.
Yeah.
But that's what it's going to take, because these people think there's no end in the money and the weapons. They built a cemetery that can handle 1.5 million graves, but they say they've only lost 100,000 people in Ukraine, which some other outlets are saying it's more like 400,000 on both sides. To the point where in Ukraine, they've already conscripted able-bodied men up to their 50s, and some people are getting kidnapped, like that don't even live in Ukraine or like dual citizens or something like that. They're being recalled to go fight in the war whether they want to or not. That's pretty freaking bad. I think it's a shit show over there. Meanwhile, this freaking Zelensky is out here begging for money and then pretty much giving blowjobs every time he comes to the States, buying mansions and yachts and shit across the world. I think it's pretty fucked up. And that's our senators and the Democrats voting for it. And I think that leads me to like another point I made on Twitter. When it comes to local elections, they can all run as whatever they want. They can say, you can run as a Democrat. If you think you're in a Democrat district and you want to be a school board member or county commissioner, you can say whatever the hell you want.
Right.
You just go register as a Democrat. Maybe somebody will dig around and see the record of it, but you can say you believe in whatever frickin' dummy Democrat believes in. But I think it's important you ask them questions to find out, for us, for my side, what type of constitutional conservative these people are. So we're doing those town halls with Joanne Binford, Binford Chronicles. We have a couple, not every Friday. There's a couple coming up in March, I believe. There's another county commissioner, two county commissioners, I think a district representative in March, and Chief Touchberry candidate for sheriff also, just in March. And she's got some other ones planned out. I sit in on them and I ask a few questions, and she calls me a co-host, so whatever. It's really, I just get in there and ask a few questions. And anybody's welcome. And if you're not local to Indian River County, and you're interested you should be interested in your local politics, just follow her anyways, or follow us and tune in, and you can see what you should be treating your local politicians like, because that's where they start. I mean, these people in Washington making these big decisions on a national or international level started somewhere. Most of them started local. And like for us and our county commissioners, they control the money, the tax money, where it goes, which side of the river it goes to, which side of the tracks it goes to, so it's important. Like, same with your sheriffs, like you can say you're constitutional conservative all you want, but are you going to enforce unconstitutional gun laws imposed by federal government? So I think those kinds of questions are important. I don't even know why I went down this road, but speaking of, the notification came through just a little while ago. The House of Representatives did vote to impeach the Homeland Security Director Mayorkas, I believe, which they tried last week, but they were short a few people that weren't in person. This week they're in person, so they voted again. I don't know what that means, really. I'm not an expert. Usually, if it's a president, they vote to impeach, then they go to trial in the Senate. And if the Senate convicts them, that's who removes them from office. But I don't know how it works for a cabinet appointee, you know.
Right.
The president appoints them and they're confirmed, but I don't know. That could be something we talk about next time too, but
Yeah, for sure.
because there's ways to remove people that were elected from, elected to office. Anyways, that's all I've got for this week. I'm sure there's something I'm missing.
No, that's okay. Vince, you got anything, Vince?
No, I don't think so.
I like that
You,
shirt you got.
what about
on,
you,
though.
Leo?
No, I think
Thank you.
No moments with Leo tonight.
I don't think so. Just I've been looking at those crackers over there. I wonder why there's like one little tan one in there.
What the fuck did you call me? Call me a cracker?
Yeah, I said I was looking at those crackers over there.
We have sound bites somewhere,
Easy.
but yeah, looking at them crackers. But
There's your Leo moment.
all right, that's we've got that around here somewhere. We need to work on a segment for Leo.
Yeah.
There you go. Anyways,
all right, guys, don't forget to give us a like, give us a share, give us a subscribe. Definitely
Yeah,
a
it
share
helps.
though. It helps
Yeah.
us a lot.
if you're watching and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And if you have Rumble on your phone and you're watching us somewhere else, subscribe to us on Rumble. There's 2 channels. There's a Shorts channel. Actually, I don't know how it works. There's our Rumble, and then there's 2 channels. To the Point Podcast and To the Point Shorts, and there's soon to be an Indian River on Point.
If you see one on Rumble, subscribe to it. If you see a second one,
Subscribe to it.
Yeah,
Yes.
subscribe to it. Subscribe,
Yeah.
subscribe.
Everywhere. Follow. It helps because
It just gets us in front of more people.
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, it keeps us going too. Because I mean, we do pretty good, but
We do all right.
yeah, I mean, it's not paying us, but we could be better, I guess.
I was about to say,
If you got something to
get new
say,
trucks?
yeah, no. But if you got something to say, there's something you want us to look into or talk about, or you want to talk about it, hit us up. I don't know how to do it. I mean, I can figure everything out. Trust me. We can either get you on remotely, or you can come on by, and we can get you on the camera. But that's all I got.
All righty, guys, we out. Hasta la
This is how
vista.
the algorithm on social media works. When you first publish content, it gets distributed to 20% of your followers and to a portion of people who are not your followers, but whose interests align with the content. Then, the algorithm measures 2 things: watch time and engagement. If a person spends time watching the content, it gets pushed to more people with similar interests. Otherwise, if the content doesn't grab the viewer's attention, it gets no boost. Also, if a person shares, saves, comments on, or likes the published content, the algorithm pushes the content to more viewers, resulting in more reach and engagement from a broader audience.
We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.